How often does your pancreas act up? If you feel sick or heavy after every rich meal filled with fatty, sweet, and boozy foods, you may soon join the growing number of patients diagnosed with pancreatitis. Or maybe you're already there, living on porridge and water. By the way, porridge cooked with water is one of the biggest mistakes when treating digestive issues, and today you'll find out why. We'll also reveal what else we're doing wrong when it comes to pancreatic health. Today you will learn why snacking can be dangerous, how the Chinese activate digestive enzymes, what's the most harmful thing to eat at night, to drink or not to drink, what's wrong with those healthy nuts, an ancient herbalist secret you can try as soon as tomorrow, which fats actually support your health, what can replace protein, why milk doesn't belong in the fridge when your pancreas is inflamed, how to naturally restore enzyme production for better digestion. And our expert will explain how to survive a festive feast without ending up in surgery, and share the secret to a healthy pancreas. I won't go into the anatomy of the pancreas, we don't really need that here. But I'll remind you that this organ performs two crucial functions. It helps break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates by producing digestive enzymes. And it regulates blood sugar by producing insulin. We'll talk about insulin and diabetes another time. In fact, we already have episodes on those topics. Today, we're focusing on enzymes, both their excess and deficiency, and the common dietary mistakes people make. So, if your holiday or even weekday eating looks like Last Supper mode, this is for you. Watch until the end and learn how to restore your pancreas and improve digestion. Let's begin with a wise doctor's tip. I'm sure you've heard it before, but probably don't follow it. The tip is simple. Eat slowly and chew your food thoroughly. Sound familiar? Some experts recommend chewing each bite 20-30 times and spending at least 20 minutes on a single meal. Now be honest, do you chew slowly or do you act more like a boa constrictor at the table? These reptiles never chew, but we need to, and here's why. If you chew your food well, you reduce the workload on the pancreas by half. That means you're extending its functional lifespan. Most of us never even consider that every organ in our body has its own lifespan, or as doctors say, functional reserve. We tend to think of ourselves as a whole unit and believe we'll live as long as our general health allows. But here's the thing. One person keeps their vision sharp until old age, while another loses it early, even though the eyes of both people were equally healthy to begin with. Our habits and lifestyle determine how our organs age. Some people can eat nails at 90, while others at 50 can't survive without enzyme supplements. The pancreas is actually an organ with a high functional reserve, unlike the heart, which is more prone to aging and damage. You really have to try hard to destroy your pancreas early. Yet many people manage to do just that. Interestingly, 1 in 5 people over 50 suffers from chronic pancreatitis, inflammation of the pancreas, and doesn't even know it until they have an attack. It usually happens after a feast. New Year, like it's the last one, that's a classic tradition for us. But when we overload the digestive system, there aren't enough enzymes to handle it. Big holiday meals trigger pancreatic attacks by placing extreme and prolonged stress on the organ. So, what kills the pancreas? Fatty, sweet, and spicy foods. In other words, all the tasty stuff. Alcohol is the worst. It interferes with enzyme production, blocks bile flow, irritates tissues, causes inflammation, and throws the whole digestive system into chaos. But what about the European doctors who say a glass of dry red wine with dinner is healthy? They even recommend it daily. Meanwhile, our doctors say absolutely not. So who's right? Today on Health and Longevity, we ask an expert, Dr. Olga Valeryevna Pomoynetskaya, a gastroenterologist and PhD in medicine. Are there safe doses of alcohol? It's acceptable to have 1 glass of wine, while strong alcohol should be limited to no more than 50 milliliters for women and 70 milliliters for men. But we must also consider other health conditions, gender, age, and individual reactions to alcohol. If any of these factors are present, alcohol should be approached with caution. The most dangerous combination for your pancreas is fatty food plus strong alcohol. Think about it. 80% of acute pancreatitis cases in Russia are caused by this exact combo. Look, alcohol interferes with the action of digestive enzymes, while fatty food requires a lot of enzymes to digest. As a result, the pancreas has to work at full capacity. So what should you do? Obviously, don't eat fatty foods and drink alcohol, especially not at the same time. But what if you've already overindulged? How can you help your pancreas in that situation? If you have eaten or drunk too much, I recommend getting up from the table and taking a walk in the fresh air. This will improve the digestion process and blood circulation. Fasting helps when your pancreas is inflamed. Overeating makes it worse. But how do you know when you've had enough? We decided to look into whether there are recommended portion sizes for men and women, so you know exactly how much to put on your plate and stop there. A single episode of overeating may be tolerated by the body, but if you overeat regularly, it places a heavy burden on the entire digestive system. The stomach becomes overstretched and requires more hydrochloric acid. The liver, gallbladder, and pancreas must work harder. Digesting food is one of the most energy-consuming processes in the body. Regular overeating leads to excess weight and wears out the digestive organs. It's better to stop eating a bit early than to overeat. The body can more easily adapt when slightly underfed. Ideally, we should stop eating when hunger is subdued, but we feel we could eat a bit more. The next stage of satiety, chemical satiety, takes 15–30 minutes as nutrients reach the brain. If you keep eating beyond that, you overeat. A good rule of thumb is that a normal portion should be about the size of your fist. Overeating is harmful to your health in general. It's better to eat less. Let's make that a golden rule for health and longevity. But there's a catch. Even a therapeutic diet, if followed long-term, can become harmful. It used to be thought that if you were diagnosed with chronic pancreatitis or any other digestive issue, then a strict diet was required for life. People were placed on water-based porridge for years. But now experts say this does more harm than good. Why is sticking to porridge and water for years dangerous? Because such a diet does not provide the body with enough vitamins and minerals. This kind of poor nutrition weakens the immune system, worsens the condition of your skin and hair, and can even affect your mental health. With pancreatic issues, nutrition should be light, but not lacking. One recommendation from doctors for those with digestive problems, especially related to the pancreas, is to temporarily exclude protein-rich foods. But why? This approach reduces the load on the pancreas and helps limit enzyme secretion. Well, here's the problem. While we're treating one thing, we risk neglecting another. Older adults often already have protein deficiency, and now they're told to remove protein too. But we've found alternatives for you. Protein isn't just meat and fish. There are also plant-based sources that are often unfairly overlooked. Protein is essential in our diet, both plant and animal-based. Ideally, 30 to 40% of protein should come from animal sources, with the remainder from plants. Whole grains like buckwheat, lentils, and legumes are rich in plant-based protein, as well as essential vitamins and minerals. This balance should form the foundation of a healthy diet. Among plant proteins, legumes are the clear leaders: lentils, chickpeas, and more. Our expert recommends soaking chickpeas for 24 hours to avoid digestive discomfort. This shortens cooking time and prevents bloating. But you won't find nuts on that list. Why not? Aren't they healthy and protein-rich? Or maybe not. We found out that nuts are more complicated than they seem. Let's hear what the expert says. Nuts are an excellent source of protein and healthy fats, but they require strong enzymatic function. Overeating nuts can overwhelm the gallbladder and pancreas, a common issue among vegetarians, especially men who don't follow a balanced diet. According to our expert's recommendation, nuts should be consumed very sparingly for pancreatic health. Instead, your diet should contain more whole grains and fiber. You still need fats, but in small amounts. It's best to choose clarified butter, ghee. As for cold milk from the fridge, better to avoid it. Here's why. Dairy products stimulate the pancreas to produce enzymes. So does sugar. That means something like sweet cottage cheese pancakes with sour cream is the worst possible dinner for someone with pancreatic problems. There are many such foods that gradually wear down the pancreas by overworking it. Insulin-resistant foods are those that stimulate the pancreas to produce more insulin, as they require a sufficient insulin response for proper digestion. People with insulin resistance or diabetes should be mindful to avoid foods that excessively stimulate the pancreas. Should you give them up completely, or are they okay sometimes? It depends on your diagnosis and the extent of pancreatic changes linked to insulin resistance. It's unrealistic to eliminate all insulin-resistant foods. If your diet is generally balanced and supports your pancreas, occasional inclusion of cottage cheese, red meat, or pastries is acceptable. The key is maintaining overall balance. Hopefully, you understand that cutting out individual products without changing your overall eating habits won't help. And looking at pancreatic health separately from the health of the gallbladder and duodenum is a mistake. The pancreas is rarely the only problem. That's why we'll soon release a new video on living without a gallbladder. Now let's focus on this. To restore the health of your digestive system, it's important to follow a regular eating schedule and even eat at the right times. This is a very important point. Our bodies follow biological rhythms, and so does the pancreas. It operates on a specific schedule, and its activity levels change throughout the day. Morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. The pancreas is most active. Enzymes and hormones are released more quickly and in greater amounts. Breakfast during this time is especially beneficial. Recommended foods: oatmeal, whole grain toast, eggs. Afternoon, 12 to 15 p.m. Pancreatic activity declines but remains stable. This is the best time for your main meal. Evening, 18 to 21 p.m. The pancreas starts winding down. Enzyme levels drop, and food is digested more poorly, especially fatty or sugary meals. Nighttime, after 21 p.m. The pancreas is almost inactive. So late-night snacking forces it to work against its natural rhythm. It's been scientifically proven that people who eat late or at night have an increased risk of metabolic syndrome, obesity, and chronic pancreatitis. And studies confirm it. Experts recommend eating 3 meals a day without snacking. But why? What's so bad about having a snack between lunch and dinner, say some tea with cookies or a banana? Why snacking can be harmful? If you have pancreatic problems and the gland is already very active, frequent small meals are not recommended. The organ needs to rest. It's better to eat 3 full meals a day without snacks. Snacks are advised only in cases of severe exhaustion or after surgery, e.g. gallbladder removal. In such cases, snacks may be temporarily necessary but should be phased out. Eating a banana between meals is fine, since it's a complex carbohydrate. But tea with cookies is worse. Cookies are simple carbs, quickly raise insulin levels, and don't satisfy hunger. The pancreas secretes insulin, but you didn't consume anything substantial. No proteins or fats, just quick sugar, which vanishes quickly. This is called the insulin roller coaster. Choose your snacks wisely. Okay, that makes sense. But how else can we reduce the release of digestive enzymes? Why would we want to do that? And when is it necessary? In cases of acute pancreatitis or flare-ups, the pancreas should be as inactive as possible. This means suppressing enzyme secretion, which is done by restricting food intake. In acute phases, patients are often prescribed fasting and specific medications, including pain relievers and IV fluids if hospitalized. A special acute phase diet is used, low in fats and proteins, salt-free, spice-free, and fat-free, with pureed, easily digestible food. Now let's imagine the opposite situation, when there are too few enzymes. For example, you haven't eaten all day, and then suddenly you overeat in one sitting. In that case, your body doesn't have enough enzyme activity. Too much food, but not enough enzymes. In older adults, this can happen even after a normal-sized meal, without overeating. Why is that? Is it just age, or are we doing something wrong again? With age, all organs begin to function less efficiently. That's why elderly individuals are advised to support digestion with enzyme supplements. If you haven't supported your body throughout life, age-related issues will be more severe. But even with good preventive care, seniors are encouraged to take enzymes and supplements to help digest food properly. In cases of enzyme deficiency, doctors often recommend taking digestive enzyme supplements to support the pancreas. But some studies suggest that long-term use can reduce your own natural enzyme production. There's a belief that the pancreas becomes lazy and dependent. So how long can you safely take enzymes without negative consequences? If you've eaten a large or heavy meal, it's wise to take enzyme supplements. These are especially important if you have issues with your gallbladder or pancreas. Take them for as long as your doctor prescribes. Long-term enzyme therapy is sometimes necessary for pancreatic issues. Don't be afraid of it. The benefits far outweigh the risks. All right, we get it. If the pancreas needs help from enzyme supplements, we provide it. But here's a question. What are these enzyme pills made of? And are there any natural enzyme sources that could be used instead of pharmaceuticals?
If you have digestive issues, pharmaceutical enzyme supplements are the best choice. They come in animal-based, plant-based, and mixed forms, and are highly effective for digestive problems.
And what about those who can't take animal-based enzymes for dietary or ethical reasons?
Those who, for ethical or medical reasons, cannot take animal-derived enzymes can use plant-based alternatives. These are widely available and are often made from pineapple, bromelain, papaya, papain, or bacterial cultures.
So how else can we support the pancreas? One of the most commonly recommended remedies for pancreatic issues is oat kisel, oat jelly. But does it really work? We'll ask an expert in a moment, but first let me tell you how to make it properly. Here's how to prepare oat kisel the right way. Rinse the oats and drain the water. Pour boiling water over the oats. Let it steep for 12 hours. Strain the mixture, the liquid is your oat kisel. Drink 1 glass per day or divide into 3 portions and drink before meals. But this is a folk remedy. What does our expert say? Does oats really help with pancreatic problems?
I honestly don't know where this recommendation came from. Oat decoctions soothe mucous membranes, but they don't act directly on the pancreas. They may improve the condition of the duodenum, but during acute episodes, any noticeable benefit takes a long time. I recommend taking enzyme supplements and addressing inflammation more comprehensively.
Yes, oats really do help heal mucous membranes. And during inflammation, the pancreatic lining suffers. So we can consider oat kisel a helpful part of comprehensive digestive treatment. You can spend an entire day drinking oat kisel. It's a great cleansing day, giving the pancreas a rest. And by the way, it's good to have a reset day from time to time. If not with oats, then at least with buckwheat. But remember, the effect from oats and any folk remedy comes only with regular use. Don't expect miracles after 1 or even 5 tries. We also advise you not to expect miracles from all the products currently hyped on the internet. I get it. We all want a magic pill to forget about pain, nausea or bloating. You just take a capsule and boom, your pancreas is fine. But that's not how it works. Let's ask the expert. Do supplements like peptides actually help the pancreas?
In general, I'm in favor of dietary supplements when used properly. Peptides are one type of supplement, regulatory molecules that work best when the organ has already been stabilized. Once inflammation is reduced and digestion is supported with enzymes, peptides can be added to further improve pancreatic function. It requires a comprehensive approach. Peptides alone won't fix serious problems.
Did you know that a smile supports your pancreas just as well as medication? It may surprise you, but the pancreas is one of the few organs whose health is directly linked to your emotional well-being. All the chemical processes involved in enzyme and insulin production are influenced by hormones, the same ones your body releases in response to fear, pain, anxiety, and stress. In ancient Eastern medicine, the pancreas is connected to the earth element, which represents stability, confidence, and inner balance. That's why calm and cheerful people rarely have pancreatic issues. Those who experience chronic stress, anxiety, or worry often suffer after nearly every meal. pain, heaviness, nausea, one symptom replaces another. According to statistics, people prone to anxiety have a 40% higher risk of chronic pancreatitis compared to those who know how to relax. We've talked about relaxation techniques many times. If you haven't yet watched our videos on dementia and spine health, where we cover these topics, be sure to check them out. For now, let me remind you about box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4 seconds. Yoga also offers a breathing technique that helps you calm your mind and relieve abdominal organ spasms. You can try it right now. Sit comfortably and take a deep breath in through your nose. Now exhale very slowly through your mouth, pulling in your stomach. Let's try again. Deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, drawing in the belly. This type of breathing improves circulation and helps your pancreas function more efficiently. And do you know how the Chinese relax? In addition to spiritual practices, they often drink tea with schisandra or ginseng. These herbs are considered adaptogens. Adaptogens get their name from the word adaptation, because they help the body adapt to various stress factors. Both ginseng and schisandra support the body's ability to handle stress. Take 1–2 teaspoons of dried ginseng root or schisandra herb. Pour over a cup of boiling water. Let it steep for 15 minutes and you have a natural stress relief drink. And now, the promised secret from ancient herbalists. Mix 1 teaspoon flax seeds, 1 teaspoon lemon balm or mint, and 1 tablespoon dried rosehip berries. Pour over 1 liter of boiling water, let it steep overnight. Drink half a glass before each meal. The original ancient recipe used calamos instead of mint, but since calamos is hard to find nowadays, mint is a suitable substitute with similar. And here's another secret, this time from modern doctors. The secret to a healthy and proper morning. Did you know that warm water in the morning supports the pancreas? Try it tomorrow. Sip slowly in small sips. The water should be pleasantly warm, not hot. And to close this video, here's a great tip from our expert. Actually, 3.
If you've been diagnosed with pancreatic issues and told to follow a specific diet, take it seriously. If you keep eating as you always have and simply add enzymes, the problem will only worsen. To relieve the pancreas and achieve balance, the diet must be adjusted.
Give us your advice for the new year and other holidays. How can we avoid ending up in the hospital after a festive meal?
My recommendation for holidays is simple. Don't overeat and don't combine fatty and sweet foods in one meal. But if it happens, keep good enzyme supplements and sorbents on hand.
Now let's learn how to identify a good specialist when it comes to your pancreatic health.
If you have pancreatic problems, you'll start by seeing a general practitioner. They may order tests or refer you to a gastroenterologist if needed. The digestive system is not just one organ. The pancreas is closely connected to the gallbladder, liver, and duodenum. So if one of these is affected, the others often suffer too. Proper treatment requires addressing all related organs. A good doctor will take a comprehensive approach, asking detailed questions, recommending tests, and focusing on mucosal health, gallbladder, and liver function. That's the kind of specialist you should trust.
A good doctor takes a comprehensive approach, and a good patient, that means all of us, takes a comprehensive approach to their body. It's pointless to rely on a single remedy while ignoring your general attitude toward health. So ask yourself, what can I change right now? Maybe you can start your day with a glass of water instead of coffee or a cigarette. Or get up from the table feeling slightly hungry, not stuffed. Or maybe cut out snacking or skip the alcohol on Friday night. Small habits make a big difference. They prolong your life and preserve your health. Do you agree? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to leave your questions for our experts about your health concerns. That's all for today. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. We wish you health and longevity.